Welcome, everyone, to the Games Talk Live podcast. Yes, I am back finally. Last week, I know it was Father's Day, people. I had to take it off, of course. Many of you know out there, it's probably my father's last Father's Day, so I had to go spend it with him. But I'm back this week. We're going to be talking about, some fun stuff. We're not going to be talking about anything too sad or morbid or anything. Or maybe, because there's a lot of... We're going to get into...
I'm sorry.
All right. Yeah. We're gonna. Mark, you're good. You're good.
This is going to be an uplifting podcast, guys. All right, we promise.
It's going to be so uplifting. You're going to love it, people. I have with me, of course, Ian and Mark from the Just Gaming podcast, and also Legendary Drops YouTube channel. Catch them there. Welcome, boys. And your cat. Howdy. I forgot. Ian's got his cat here.
And Maddie, he apparently wants to be on the show today as well.
Yeah. So, hey,
how's it going?
Yeah.
How's it going, everybody?
What have you guys been playing lately? Ian, I'll start with you, man.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
So we've had quite an eventful start to the summer already. I've put plenty of hours into Diablo 4. I think the last time I looked, it was somewhere around 114 hours. And yeah, I am invested.
Yeah.
And also I've been playing Final Fantasy 16 now as well. So
nice.
Great, man.
Nice.
I've been loving both of them. They've both been absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. Mark, what about you, buddy?
I've put in about the same amount of hours into Diablo. My son, being the sweet lad that he is, bought a PS5. And so I have also played some Final Fantasy 16, not near as much as Ian has. And I got to check out some of the PS games that I haven't gotten to play, like Ghost of Tsushima, which I think is amazing, by the way.
Ghost is awesome.
Dude, that game is legit.
And you're getting to play it on the PlayStation 5, so it runs the best there. So
it's a beautiful game.
Yeah, I can't wait for the second part. There's going to be a part 2. It's coming.
Oh, I was waiting. I was going to wait till it came out on PC, but you know what? I didn't have to spend any money, and I got to play it, so I'm happy.
Exactly. I got a super chat here from, of course, Brigadier's Blue. Let me move that up here for you, Blue. Get you right up here. Anyways, thank you very much for the super chat there. He says, glad to be able to catch one live this week. Oh, he's going to be here with us. Usually he's like, here's a 5 spot. I'll catch it later, but he's going to be here with us. Can't wait to see where this episode goes with Ian and Mark. Thank you very much. And I'm sure they thank you as well for being here.
Yes, thank you.
It's going to go down in flames at one point. Probably will. Because
you're going to call us some names. Yeah.
Ian's going to start throwing stuff at me when I do bring a little bit of Final Fantasy 16 shade. A little bit. I've got some issues with it. We're gonna talk about that. Maybe you can help me out of this funk I'm in with this game. I'm in a bit of a funk.
I have different perspectives. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I have some of my own gripes as well. So
okay, that's good. That's good. We'll talk about that later. Yeah. So it's good to have you boys here. If you have not checked out their channel, again, Legendary Drops here on YouTube. Hell, they're about to surpass my subscriber count here on YouTube. They've been growing like a weed. Ian,
we just hit 7K.
I got to attribute that to your great videos you've been putting out. Not just the podcast, but your videos. Great job on those. Doing really excellent with that stuff. And of course,
you guys, just to clarify, this is not like a PC channel or anything like that. It's just RPGs. If you guys like RPGs, it's a great place to be.
Yeah. So they have an Xbox, they have a PlayStation, they have a PC. But yes, they do mainly talk about RPGs and stuff. And that's why I had them on today, because, of course, Final Fantasy 16 was dropped this week. And that's why I wanted to have Ian and Mark on. And Ian is a big Final Fantasy fanboy, by the way.
Oh, I am. That's understatement of the year, Mr. Fonz.
Hey, call it like I see him. But
I have triggered him so many times, just so many.
Yeah,
but
I'm
going to try not to do it. I'm going to try not to today.
Shout out to Web Dave in the chat. I don't usually I catch Web Dave all the time here. He's always here. He's always supporting. He has a podcast that follows mine as well. So check that out later, guys, on his channel. Boss Mod Lethal Papa, thank you for holding it down. He's always here every week. I've got Jim's Jim Ryan's first party GoFundMe account is here. Jim Ryan's first party GoFundMe. Welcome. I guess they need first party. Is that what's going on? They're only dropping one this year. Spider-Man 2. Yikes. The fanboyism has started.
It has.
It's started.
Early. We just started talking.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
we haven't even set any games.
Yeah, let's get into some topics. That's what I want to do. Let's talk about People Can Fly. Everybody knows People Can Fly from Bulletstorm, and what did they launch in Game Pass not that long ago?
Outriders.
That was a pretty good game. I played through that. I enjoyed it. But they're apparently working on a exclusive title for Xbox. So, don't know what it is. It's called Project Maverick. But it's going to have a $30 to $50 million budget, which isn't that high in the grand scheme of things. If you were to tell me this 15 years ago, $50 million, it was a AAA budget, but nowadays it's like upwards of 100 plus. It's pretty expensive nowadays.
If I had to take a wild guess, I'm going to say it's going to be a live service game.
Yeah, 100%.
Probably, knowing them. Although, they did make Gears Judgment and Bulletstorm, so...
Yeah, but I mean, their most recent triumph was Outriders, which I think actually it did really well on console.
It's pretty good. It was pretty good.
Yeah, it did.
Did you guys play that or no?
Yeah, it had PC porting issues, so I didn't play it.
Oh,
I played it for I played it for about 6 or 7 hours. It was like, wow, this is really bad.
Translation: it wasn't a Final Fantasy game.
That's
what it was.
Yeah, I went back and played it start to finish. After they fixed everything. So,
yeah. It's not an RPG. I'm out of here. Yeah.
Well, it was. It was a looter shooter, right?
It was a looter shooter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, we're going to talk about some RPG stuff later. But yeah, I mean, outside of that, we really don't know much, people, but I wanted to bring that news to you. I'm sure you've heard it before on other podcasts because I do my podcast late on Sunday. And when the news comes out last Monday, I'm sorry, it's new here. You're going to hear it.
Well, and the good thing about doing that way, Fonz, is we do it the same way. Is we get to get that 3,000.
You get to be last. You're telling me you get to be last, and that's great.
That's right. We get to be last. We get to see all the bullshit, and then we can go. You know what? It's wrong.
Yeah, I didn't see any fanboyism or anything crazy being talked about. People Can Fly, so at least that news went off without a hitch, and I didn't see any craziness happen on Twitter about this. So in other news, though, we have Respawn has come out and stated that they worked on Titanfall 3 for 10 months before scrapping it in favor of Apex.
Yep. And
you guys play Titanfall? Titanfall 2 was excellent, in my opinion.
I still play Titanfall 2 multiplayer.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, it's a really good game.
Yeah, I'm kind of saddened by this. What about you guys?
I was shocked because in my head I was thinking, evil EA. They just canceled it because they wanted a live service. It was actually Respawn that canceled the game. It was themselves that canceled it. It wasn't EA that said, "Hey, don't make that." It was Respawn. So
I think they even came forward specifically and said like they just weren't really invested in the next iteration of Titanfall they were making. They're like, we could make this game, which is more like Titanfall 2.5, or we could go ahead with this other project that we're really excited for. And to be honest, it paid off.
It did. Yeah. It did. And that's why I don't really give them shit for it, because obviously, look at Apex, right? I mean,
Jesus. What can you say?
Talk about billions of dollars there. I mean, look, a Titanfall 3 would not have gained as much money or even momentum as an Apex. No. And it's these types of games, Apex, you've got Fortnite. I mean, they're few and far between. The ones that are very successful anyway. So they hit a home run with that. I mean, I can't be mad at them for that. But I'm a little disappointed because I would like Titanfall 3. Right, chat? I mean, I'm sure you guys would have too. I thought that campaign was great. I thought it was
awesome.
Really solid.
What they did with the technology on that game, I don't know if you know this. Like I played it initially on the Xbox One X. That game ran well over 60 frames per second. And it's like that game technology, it can run anywhere. It's like the Skyrim of first-person shooters. It ran well everywhere. It's just a really, really solid technical game. It's super, super dope.
Yeah. I got a super chat here from my good friend Hargeet Shani. Thank you very much for showing up. Every week he shows up. Thank you, Hargeet. You're such a good friend, man. Also, my co-panelist on the RDX podcast, in case you don't know. He says Nintendo put up a new Mario game coming out the same day as Spider-Man 2. Yikes. Not a good year for PlayStation. You know, here's the thing. Nintendo, they like to fuck around, man. They do. I think they did that purposely. I think they said, you know what, PlayStation, you've been doing a lot of fucking around. You're gonna find out now. You're gonna find out. Mario. There's two games you never want to go up against: a Zelda and a Mario. That's those two games you don't want to go up against with any type of game whatsoever. And they did it the same freaking day. Man.
It's kind of wild that I would imagine most of the developers for these summer titles, they didn't line up they lined up their games after the release of Tears of the Kingdom was announced. They waited for the Zelda first. They're like, you know what, we're gonna Diablo. Let's make that for June. Mm-hmm. Final Fantasy, we'll have that also in late June. Let Tears of the Kingdom have its own month, which it was well deserved.
It might behoove PlayStation to say, oh, we're having a little bit of a technical difficulty and we're going to have to move this back just a little bit, guys. Our game needs to be pushed just a little bit because Mario is going to eat into some of those sales. But I don't fear for Spider-Man 2 like it's not going to sell. No, the game's going to sell like gangbusters. It's going to be a huge thing for them. But yeah, it does kind of put a little heat on them for sure, putting Mario out the same day. I'm sure Jim Ryan is somewhere cursing out the clouds right now, so pissed off.
Well, between that and the court case going on right now, a little bit of both, huh?
Oh, I have not been following this court case whatsoever, guys. I don't know what's been going on because newsflash, I'm not a big fanboy when it comes to this stuff. Like, look, I've said it many times. I'm very biased in that I want more games coming into my service, my subscription service, Game Pass, which, I do really like. However, there's something I want to get into later about Game Pass that is kind of eye-opening to me. It's starting to be eye-opening, and I don't like the trend I'm seeing, and I'm going to be ranting just a little bit later on Game Pass. But I still think it's the best value in gaming. Still do. At this point, you can't go wrong with Game Pass. But
it's going to grow in value too.
I'll definitely let you know what I feel about that. Web Dave, thank you for becoming a channel supporter there. I appreciate you very much, brother. Thank you. I saw that. Great guy. What's up, Danny Passion Official? Welcome to the show. I see you, buddy. I see you. We've got another Ian in the house, Ian Minto. Oh. So you got the challenger in the house.
Gross.
You're going to have to fight him now to the death. One of you will stay. The
only
other
one leaves.
Yeah,
there only can one. Be only one.
Yeah, exactly. And I think Ian Minto, man, I think he's got you.
He's got a cooler name. Oh, that's for sure.
Yeah. He's got at least a second part to his name.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I just have one.
Ian, yeah. Legendary drop. Yeah. Oh, you got legendary drops, but.
That's true.
Hey. Anyways, we're going to move on from that. Avowed developers, I guess they came out, Obsidian anyway, and they stated that their game was shown pre-alpha at the showcase. So everybody was complaining about the graphics. Well, not everybody, because I wasn't. I thought it looked fine. I didn't think it looked terrible.
There was a lot of people out there.
It looked a bit like Elder Scrolls Online, that type of graphics. But you know what? Obsidian makes high-quality RPGs. Okay, you guys are RPG guys. You guys know this. Obsidian is top notch. I don't have any worries for this game whatsoever. A lot of people were saying it's too bright and colorful and blah, blah. It's like they showed you a tiny slice of this game. Sure, some of these areas that they showed you might be bright and colorful. Others will be dark. The stories are pretty dark in Pillars. It's crazy to me that people are automatically writing this off as, that game sucks. It looks like Sea of Thieves or whatever things I've heard out there on Twitter. Don't go to Twitter if you want to hear just a bunch of nonsense, people.
Don't go to Twitter. Period.
Yeah, you know how often I read my feed on Twitter. Never. I don't
just
read
post it, throw it into the void, and walk away.
I read my threads, but I don't read like what other people are saying usually. I don't. If I want to know what's going on with several people in the community, which I do respect, I will go to their Twitter and see what they posted. But I don't read my feed because usually it's people retweeting like fanboy nonsense. Like it's dumb. So
True. I mean, it's pooper. Anyway, the Avowed.
Yeah,
a lot of
Avowed.
people don't realize that the art style for that game is done in the art style of Pillars of Eternity.
Mm-hmm. I've said
that's what Pillars of Eternity looks like.
Yep.
It's not a realistic, Souls-like game. It's just not. So, I'm actually super hyped for this game, and I think it looked pretty good. So
Yeah,
Mark went and knocked out a
solid.
bunch of the old Pillars of Eternity games.
You knocked them all out, huh?
I
That
did.
fast?
I did.
Damn, Mark, you really did.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
Dang.
Invested.
I told you I played Diablo for 24 hours straight, and you were like, "That's not healthy, Mark." Yeah, I know, but you know what? I had fun.
You really
So,
did. You really
I did. I really did.
You need to you need to move to one of those those Asian countries where you can get into those internet cafes and just sit there all night.
Start stroking out. Yeah, no, I'm good.
Yeah, no, don't go.
Mark
there.
the Gold Farmer.
But no, what I saw in terms of gameplay looked good. It looked fun. I mean, there was instances where it looked a little. If they're saying it's pre-alpha now, I'm like, yeah, I can see that. But they're saying it's going to look better, folks, in the end. But I had no problem with what was shown, even if it comes out looking just like that. I know I'll have a good time with it. I like Elder Scrolls, so that doesn't bother me that it looks a lot like Elder Scrolls. It looks like a fantasy game, RPG. I'm there. We need more of them.
It was a bit of a rope-a-dope, and Ian can contest to this because we did the side-by-side
so.
footage.
I
It
don't
was a little
think
bit of
so.
a rope-a-dope.
I don't think so. And here's why.
I mean, that initial
Here's why.
teaser they
Okay,
did was some like triple next gen shit going on there.
So if you're comparing where they shot the arrows and all that in that cinematic, that to me wasn't part of the game. Like that to me was just like
the spell casting.
The spell casting
it was
thing?
the spell.
It wasn't that different. It was just
it
darker
kind of
environment.
looked like, this is the high quality one and then this is the one from wish.com, but okay.
Yeah,
Oh.
this is about at home.
You're like, this is Temu over here, right?
Yeah.
No. I don't think it was that bad. I don't think it was that off. Matter of fact, I'm willing to bet that there's going to be, instances in that game when you're in a cave, and it does look a lot like that original one. But yeah, the whole cinematic where they're shooting the arrows and it's flying over, that looked more hyper realistic compared to this more stylized look of the game. And look, you love certain art styles or you don't.
I'm not even in the game for the art style. I'm in the game for the developer. Obsidian has never let me down.
That's more
ever.
of what I want
I
for
would
it.
agree.
Yes, that's more of why I'm excited for the game. It's because Obsidian makes great games, great RPGs, I should state, and it's going to be a fun one. I think it's going to be a fun fantasy game. Even in Grounded, look, they made Grounded. It's pretty popular. A lot of
Fantastic
people play Grounded. I played with friends. And I didn't think it was a bad game. I just didn't. It's not my thing, but it's not a bad game at all. It's a decent little game.
It's a lot of fun.
I don't know. The spiders scare me.
I think
You
I
guys
think it's
have
really nice.
arachnophobia?
I think it's really nice when you can see developers make something that is like really far outside of their normal wheelhouse, because it kind of gives you a lot of faith in what they can be able to implement in games in the future. So we're like, they can go and make something like Grounded kind of off the shoot, right? They were just kind of doing this as a side project. Xbox walked in and said, "Hey, make that." I think that makes me really hopeful for what they're going to be able to pull off with Avowed, because what kind of learnings and mechanics they can take from other genres and then bring that into the RPG genre. The bigger and better you can make these games, the better it is for everybody. But even more so for Game Pass and for Xbox, because they need to flesh out that library.
Yeah. Did you guys play Outer Worlds? That was a fun game.
Did. Absolutely, it's fantastic.
Yeah, I thought it was a great game. What little comedy and stuff they threw in there was funny. It was good. Mm-hmm. The storyline was good. The gameplay was fun. The only part I didn't like about that game, honestly, is the fact that there wasn't a lot to explore. It was very small, the areas.
Yeah.
Like you didn't have much to just walk around in and check out. Like that's what I love about the Fallouts and Elder Scrolls. It's like, here's a map, go run where you want to, and just have fun. I
and your open
that.
world biasness.
Which,
you know what I mean?
Yes.
Which is open
we're
world
gonna have
biasness.
to return to this conversation. I feel like if we discuss Starfield.
Okay. Yes. We can do that if you want. Yeah. Let's open that up. Starfield. Okay, you bring it up. What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Okay, what I'm talking about is
planets.
I am of the mind that I like to think of when a game's coming out, I try to have realistic expectations of that game. And there was a little nugget that was left behind by Todd when they were going through the different things about the game. And one of the things is like, there's 1,000 planets.
Yeah.
That's not 1,000 planets, whole planets that we're going to be exploring. That's an area you're going to land and be able to explore in that area that you landed. Every planet's going to have a specific area for you to land in. He kind of slightly mentioned that. I don't think it's going to be fully generated planets.
No, you can land wherever you want. It's not designated areas within the planets. You can land wherever you want. Here's the problem, though. The fact that on the last interview he was talking about, there is no vehicles, mode of transportation while you're on that planet. So basically, you're on foot.
Jetpack.
You're footing it, bitch. That's what he said. You want to get from here to there, you're going to have to walk. You see that mountain over there? You can go to that mountain, like he said in the Elder Scrolls, but you're going to have to walk there. And it's going to take some time. I don't have a problem with it.
I have a hard time believing that we're going to be able to explore the entire surface of a planet.
But here's the thing. So here, this is what I was going to get at. When you're on the planet and you're walking around doing your thing and you're like, oh man, this is just too far away. I want to try to go to this side of the map. You're going to have to go back up into the freaking space and come back down to the spot you want to go to. That's what you're going to have to do. It's a massive, it's a planet.
Yeah.
This is not like
I have a sinking suspicion it's going to play like Mass Effect. They will have 1,000 planets, but you're gonna have a few locked locations that you can land in, and then explore those specific areas, not the whole surface of each one of these planets.
From the way he explained it, you can land anywhere on the planet. So there will be those designated areas where they do that aren't procedural generation, where basically they've created and crafted all these like towns and stuff. There will be that stuff.
Yeah,
but there are going to be those areas on those planets. And there's going to be a lot of desolate planets. You're going to go to some planets, you're going to go, what the fuck am I doing here? You're going to be looking around and there's going to be nothing. I'm sure. But I'm here for it.
Signs.
Okay. I will go to a planet, look at its beauty, and stare at the damn stars if I have to. All right. I will try to travel to as many planets as I can because I want to see what's out there. Like this Starfield just kind of pulls at the child in me. Like, did you guys ever like lay out on your lawn and when you were younger, stare up at the stars and wonder what's out there?
Oh yeah, I do it now.
Yeah, I mean that's still within us, and this game is bringing that out. And I know this is not real life, people, but damn it, this is the closest I'm gonna ever get to going to the stars and going to these planets and doing things and having a great time. I'm excited for Starfield based on that alone, the exploration.
The ship building, ship customization, the amount of role playing you can do, the different choices you can do with your build and your character, the questing, like literally everything about the game has me insanely excited to get a crack at it. But
then there is that part of you that's like, Todd's lied to us before, damn it.
Well, it's got 16 times the planets. 16 times the planets.
It's not the lied to us before thing. It's just that I realize that as gamers, we like to set our expectations far over what I think a lot of developers can actually deliver. That's why when like people are like, specifically, there was a line, and this is like, I'd actually have to go back to the direct and share it to you to show you. But there was a line that Todd had said that made me believe what I'd said about only having specific areas to explore.
I would like to hear that.
He mentioned in the direct, he said something very specific to the line of what I just said, where it's like, well, wait a minute. I'm like, that does it, like, it's almost like he very slightly was just trying to reel in expectations a little bit.
Because I distinctly heard him say you can land anywhere at one point on the planet. On the planet.
On the direct or in the past?
On the direct.
In the direct, we'll have to find that. We'll talk about that after the show. We'll find this.
But yeah, we can look that up later. But no, I am very excited for the game myself. It's my most anticipated game for sure. It's going to be epic. I'm looking forward to the exploration, and I'm looking forward to the getting another RPG, and this time like a sci-fi space RPG. This is territory that's not often something that developers create for us. Usually with an RPG or something, it's like, okay, you're, medieval times or some kind of fantastical freaking place, like Fable or whatever. But this time it's in space and it's more grounded in realism. Whereas you're not talking to a bunch of talking aliens and stuff, right? It's like you're talking to other humans and then you come across alien species and stuff, but they're creatures. And,
I'm pretty sure we're going to run into aliens. I mean, they've
intelligent life. Yeah.
They've already kind of alluded to that anyway with the whole main part of the story.
And that's fine.
I think this game is going to be what I think everybody wanted out of Mass Effect originally. You know what I mean? The exploration part, at least the adventurers.
Green Goblin in the chat said, yes, you can land anywhere. Yeah. That's the expectation we all have. That's what I got from it. So,
yeah. I mean, and there's only so much you can do with assets. I mean, a game that large, there's just only so much you can do.
Yeah.
I don't expect every planet to be this lush, full, like beautiful jungle. I don't expect any of that.
Oh, I got to say something. Thank you for bringing that up. This lush jungle. Okay. So do you remember when we first saw the graphics to Starfield and they were showing the sort of the new Atlantis area where you had the weird looking buildings and you had some trees and they were making fun of the trees, the flat looking kind of trees. And they're like, look at those trees. We got some fucking trees like that out there. I saw them myself with my own fucking eyes in the real world, people. There are trees that look like that. There are trees that look like that. It blew my mind. I was driving up 101. I saw them myself here on the West Coast.
Why didn't you take a picture?
We got trees like that. I'm sure I can find it.
You need to have proof, and you need to tag a bunch of people in it. And
it has something to do with the environment. Okay, it has something to do with wind and how it manipulates these trees as they grow. But I'm telling you, I've seen them on the West Coast. So
flat trees.
There are trees like this, folks.
Flat Earth. Trees.
It blew my mind. I pointed at it and I go, I was like, there it is. Those trees. I've seen them on Starfield. And my wife's like, what the fuck are you talking about? You just woke the kids. We had a good ride and you're screaming about Starfield. What is Starfield? I'm like, it's a game. I'm sorry, but those are the trees.
It's where I'm going to live for the next 2 years.
Yeah, those are the trees. Had a great time. With the family this weekend, but I saw those trees and I was like, wow. Okay, so they must have like gotten an idea from, all kinds of different areas,
Oh, yeah.
And decided, hey, like, there are flat trees like this. So,
yeah, I really enjoyed the deep dive into like the art part or the art section of their game design when they talked about it during their direct.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was really cool where they got like the inspiration for like creating bodies and faces and all the different customization and the environments, and it's pretty cool.
The remake Station 5 in the chat says, I have a feeling there will be aliens, but they're human looking aliens. Yeah, probably humanoid.
Okay,
sure.
Okay, let's put on our tinfoil
humanoid
hats,
we'll say.
Logically, our species is the only species that we know how to exist or live this way, right? So when we're looking for planets with life, we're looking for planets just like ours, right? So if you think evolution wise, the what you're going to find is going to be humanoid. It's just the way it is. If you're looking in the Goldilocks area, I'm just saying.
I believe.
I'm not saying there's not. I'm not saying there's
Mark.
The grays and the greens aren't around.
Oh, I believe
Arizona was real.
Wait,
So,
the Phoenix Lights. Yeah. I saw it, brother.
Sorry. Okay.
Where's the X-Files theme? Do you don't have that on your board?
No, unfortunately, I don't have the X-Files theme.
Next time.
But I do believe, people. I do believe. I've seen things. I've seen things, and I've heard things.
He's seen flat trees. He knows.
I saw a flat tree. Hey, I saw flat trees. Trust me.
I think the beautiful thing about Starfield
is it just me, or is? Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Is that unlike any other game that Bethesda's made, it doesn't have such a finite start to finish. Right? This game could take you 2-3 years, depending on how you decide to play it.
Yeah, exactly.
To get it done.
And
it's not like Elder Scrolls where you play all the storyline, do all the side quests, you're done. You know what I mean? There's a lot to do there. This is gonna be a beefy long-term game.
That's what I love about big open world games, is the fact that I can do whatever I want, go wherever I want, play it how I want. That's the end game for me. Is like, I don't have to rush through this storyline. I don't have to rush through the campaign. I can do what I want. I could take a side quest if I want, or I could just go off and explore. That's the kind of shit I like to do in a game.
I just can't wait for all the mods to come out.
Yeah.
Oh, there's going to be some hilarious mods. You know, assless chaps will be there because, the cowboy and all that. And I'm sure they're going to be there. I would download some assless chaps. I would download that mod.
I mean, I was more talking about some of the. Have you seen the guy that did the Dark Souls or the Elden Ring mod for Skyrim?
Oh no, I have not.
Oh, it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. Wow. It's super cool. And then obviously people have also done multiplayer mods and stuff like that as well. Mm-hmm. Basically, Star Citizen will come out before Star Citizen. It's probably never going to come out. Yep. Game will never exist.
I like how you say mods. The first thing he goes to is
assless chaps.
Yeah.
Little ascot, Yeah. It's going to be a great time. I got a super chat here. Thank you for, I don't know where this currency is from, but I appreciate you. From Wally Ram, he says, any of you looking forward to Phantom Liberty? Interesting. I loved Cyberpunk 2077 when I played it, when it dropped. I thought it was a great game. Now, I wasn't necessarily looking forward to this DLC because I don't usually play DLC, or buy DLC, I should say. But after talking to some people about this one, apparently they're like overhauling the game completely.
Yeah.
So it's going to be pretty much like a new experience. I might pick it up because I did like the game. Plus, Idris Elba's in the game, and he's badass.
I was thinking about something when you brought up the assless chaps. What would happen if your butthole was exposed to the vacuum of space?
Oh,
that's what it would do.
What do you think a black hole is? What do you think a black hole is, man? Come on.
You just be a whistling.
That's disgusting, Ian, but thank you.
Sorry, it's where my mind went. So.
Everybody's gone. Assless chaps, he went to butthole. Hey.
I mean, his ass is out, you know what I mean? Just wondered. Anyway.
But no, I wasn't even planning on talking about Starfield today, but
all right, sorry.
Anytime anybody brings up Starfield, I seriously,
I know you're gonna talk about it
because, like you in Final Fantasy, for me it's Starfield. For me, it's really any Bethesda single player RPG. Okay, I love the Fallout series, love Elder Scrolls. I can't wait for 6. Even Rockstar games, love Rockstar games to death.
Yeah,
whether it's GTA or even that cowboy game nobody likes, Red Dead Redemption.
Red Dead Redemption it's a fucking masterpiece franchise.
It is. Tell him, Mark. Tell him.
I mean, no matter how you look at
masterpiece.
It is a fucking masterpiece franchise. The world in Red Dead Redemption 2, if you play it on PC, it is fucking ridiculous. I mean, there's nothing like it. There's nothing like it. So
yeah, Palpatine said you don't need the DLC to get all the overhaul in the base game. No, that's true. You don't. But it looks the DLC does look pretty cool. So I may want to play something new. With all that new stuff.
I mean, from a lot of the trailers and stuff that I saw, and then also the people that went to Summer Games Fest, I think is where people got to get a chance to play it a little bit. A couple of content creators I follow were talking about their hands-on with the new DLC, and they said it was pretty cool. So,
yeah, real funny story about that. So, you know how they pick some content creators to go see these games and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, especially way back when Cyberpunk 2077, before that dropped, they took a bunch of content creators and then they sent them home. And they do this a lot. They give them B-roll footage. They don't let them take their own footage with them. They give them specific B-roll footage to go home with, and they make videos on them, and then other content creators will take some of that B-roll footage and make their own videos on it, right? I did that at one time. I took one of the content creators that will not be named, very big content creator here on YouTube, took his footage because it was B-roll footage, not necessarily his, and I made a video. He gave me a copyright strike.
What a son of a...
Gave me a copyright. Instead of just coming to me and being like, hey, you took that footage from me, can you take it down? No, none of that. Just copyright strike. And I'm like, it's B-roll footage, dude. This is what content creators do. We take the B-roll footage and we make our own videos. And, nope, didn't work out. So, but
am I supposed to be doing my own hand-drawn pictures of what the gameplay is going to look like?
But that
that was a whole thing. And not to get too far in the weeds on it, but when they all did that closed door, but behind closed doors viewing of it, they all came out of it like, oh man, if this game pulls off what they're trying to pull off, it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, but they were running it on 30 series cards on PC specifically built to play the game. They didn't play it on console. For Cyberpunk, sorry.
No, this is way back when. You got to remember, they announced that game, in like 2016? 14, 15, somewhere around there?
Like that,
Cyberpunk?
Yeah. They announced that in 2008, buddy.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, way back. So,
this is first reveal. Yeah, it's first reveal, but they didn't show gameplay of it until 2018.
No. And then I remember when people were seeing little bits of it, you're right, they're like, oh my God, it's blowing my mind. And it was getting me all hyped up. I'm making videos on it. This game's going to be the best. And then, it shit the bed because it had so many problems on last-gen consoles. And so then people were coming at me into my older videos going, you lied to us. You said it was going to be like this. And I'm like, it was all speculation. Like, none of the stuff I'm saying was 100% like, this is how it's going to be. This is facts. And no. But anyway, and that's one of the reasons why, kids, I did not make a Cyberpunk 2077 review because I got a lot of hate for that damn game, for covering that damn game. So... there it is.
I can understand how you feel. I interact with the Blizzard community quite frequently. So
yeah. Oh yeah, the Diablo 4 stuff. Which the Diablo 4 is just incredible. I'm having a great time with that.
They did a great job.
I know I'm not like you guys, 114 hours plus. I don't know how many hours I put in, but I'm at level 50 and I'm having a good time. It is what it is.
Well,
I'm okay, but what I'm playing right now, though, and we're going to talk about this, is Final Fantasy 16. Okay, many of us are playing it right now. It's Ian's most favorite game ever.
Wow, that's actually Final Fantasy 14, but
yeah. This may be why you give it more of a pass than I do. And we'll talk about this.
Okay.
The game is pretty much for me, it's more of a medieval fantasy game more than it is Final Fantasy to me so far. I'm only about maybe 5-6 hours, so I'm at the very beginning, and most of that have been cutscenes, to be honest.
Yes, it's very narrative heavy.
Very narrative heavy. It ditches the turn-based RPG mechanics for full action mechanics, so it doesn't even have that quasi sort of turn-based that the remakes did. This is more Devil May Cry.
Yep.
And Bayonetta. I'm liking the game, but I do take some issues with it. But first, I want to find out from you guys. I'll start with you, Mark. Are you enjoying the game?
Yes. I don't I don't. God, it's so hard. Like I was talking to Ian about this beforehand. I don't think I've put enough time into it to give a genuine, a non-disingenuous take on it. But I have a lot of the same views as you.
Then why are you here? No, I'm just kidding. No, go.
Get out.
But no, it's like the best part of the game for me is the action combat because it feels like a Devil May Cry game. But the how slow it is a lot of story. It takes me out.
You're literally it's like, go over there and talk to that guy. You go over there and talk to him, and he's like, Go fetch me some wood. You go get the wood. Quest completed. Then it goes to a cutscene. And then after that, you go talk to another cutscene. And it's like,
I
whoa.
mean, just like you said, even vendors, there's a cutscene for the vendors to talk to the vendors. It's just, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It's just not what my mindset was going into the game. You know what I mean? So I can't give it a fair assessment based off of that, but I think it's a pretty solid game. It runs really well. So, I mean, that's all I can really, I mean, it runs really well. Let me preface that.
The performance mode is dog shit, people.
This will upset most of your fan base. It runs well for a console game.
Yeah. Oh no. And we can touch on that consoles versus like, PC.
I'm not doing versus. I'm just saying for a console next gen game, it's running fairly okay.
I'm not going to go off on a tangent, but we'll hold that thought for later. But Ian, how are you enjoying the game?
Best game ever. Let's do it,
man. It's a really complex. It's a really complicated situation for me. So like, as somebody that's like a massive Final Fantasy fan, I plan on making a bunch of videos about this game and a bunch of other ones too. But it feels like you are Dante from Devil May Cry playing a Final Fantasy game. You don't feel like a Final Fantasy character. I think that's really where the biggest disconnect comes from, because you're so used to some of the same tropes that you see in every Final Fantasy game, like jobs, monk and warrior, dark knight, dragoon, all that kind of stuff. You're used to the magic systems and all of these different things that like made up the soul of a Final Fantasy game. But what it feels like is that I don't know how closely you followed this game, but Naoki Yoshida, the producer for Final Fantasy 16, he's also the guy that is the producer for Final Fantasy 14 as well. He felt that the Final Fantasy franchise was, it was too rooted in this idea that it could just succeed by its name alone. It spoiled itself basically, and it became stagnant over time. And then also on top of that, he felt that the mechanics and things like that of the turn-based systems didn't really translate to younger generations. It wasn't something they were interested in. So in a move to want to change and update everything, I feel like they may have left a lot of what made Final Fantasy so special to Final Fantasy fans behind. Now, I'm not saying none of that stuff is here, and I'm not saying it's a bad game. It's still, currently for me, it's still a 9 out of 10 right now. It's still a fantastic game. But I don't know if this is going to have the lasting impression that a Final Fantasy 10 or a 7 or an 8 had, or a 9 or whatever else, because there's those things that us Final Fantasy fans are always looking forward to in a game, and they don't necessarily seem like they're here. This feels like a great game, just in general, just a great game, but not necessarily a, once in a lifetime Final Fantasy game. And it was almost like they pushed to change too much too fast. And the best way for me to say this is this. I think what they've done now is laid a great foundation for them to build off in the future. But for them to build off in the future, they need to pull from the other games behind them, namely Final Fantasy VII Remake. And actually, this will probably bring a hot take for anybody that's played it. It'll also, I think they really need to pull a lot of stuff that they had in Stranger of Paradise.
I didn't play that one.
Final Fantasy Origins Strangers of Paradise was a game that got memed on super hard because it was you remember all the commercials? The guy, and he's like, chaos! I gotta kill the chaos! Like, it was just really memey, right? It was just not, like, the story is kind of wacky, but it was Final Fantasy meets Dark Souls. And it had that little bit of exploration, but more than that, it had this really cool class system where you could switch between all the different classes that you're used to from every Final Fantasy game. If they could mix that with this game's combat, that would be something that a lot of people would probably latch on to. Because, like, maybe I like playing as a dragoon or something like that in my games. You know what I mean? Like, there's some of those classic Final Fantasy tropes that you're looking for. Yeah, and they don't really tap into it too hard on this one. That's one of the areas I feel like it fell short, is where, and I'm only at the beginning of the game, but there's no real party system like we've had in the past where I can control another character within the party
And, because sometimes, let's face it, certain times I liked playing as the other characters in my party, and actually using their abilities and stuff. I found that really enjoyable. Here, it's basically you watch that happen outside of the dog. Your dog, you can pretty much sick or ravage or heal.
Very, very simple.
Very, very simple stuff. But I found it interesting when you said you still gave it a 9 out of 10, because Denny Passion Official had this super chat. He said, still getting 9s out of 10. Yeah, because it's a Sony game.
No, it's a good game.
Now, Ian, I can attest to this, guys.
Ian, hey, man, if Ian Xbox could release a 9 out of 10, I'd be happy for it, but I haven't seen it in like 13 years, so.
Yeah, Ian is definitely not a PlayStation guy like that. No,
I've had Game Pass for probably 20 years, or not Game Pass, but at my Xbox Live account still active for 20 years, even though I haven't played it.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Here I'm going to run down a list of stuff I don't care about the game. Okay. Oh, first I'll just say about what I like about it so far. Some of the characters are cool and likable. I actually like some of the characters in the game. I think they're pretty. Yeah.
Clive and his sister are pretty cool little combo.
I think the dialogue and stuff, a lot of it is very good. Like some of the cinematics and stuff, I'm enjoying it. Like I'm not having a problem with watching a movie, as some people are saying this game is, because it's very cutscene heavy. It really is. The problem I have with it though is that there's not enough gameplay in between these cutscenes. You so far anyway, I get these little tiny slices of gameplay in between long cutscenes, and I'm like, I need more. There was literally like sometimes it'll go from cutscene to map, and you get to pick where you want to go, and then cutscene. I'm like, wait a minute. So that is the gameplay mechanic in between cutscenes? Like, that's not very good.
The analogy that I put that with, Fonz, was it was a lot for me. Like I said, and I'm going to finish the game and enjoy it. I'm pretty sure I will. But it's like watching those the newer Godzilla movies when they first came out, where like you've got like a foot of Godzilla behind you, but then they're like, oh, we're going to go over here and talk about the people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just what's going on with this part of it. And so that it was a little frustrating. Like I said, and that's on me personally, because I wanted more of Godzilla than I wanted of the people. That's a me thing. That's not a game thing, though.
I just looked at it and I'm like looking at this map and I'm like, why can't I just go there? Why can't I just move my character and go wherever I want here?
So this is also like an hours thing. Like once you guys have opened up into like the latter half of the game, it gets to be more like that, because you technically can travel all of the zones by just passing through the different checkpoints and stuff. You don't actually have to use the map.
Okay.
You can use the map to fast travel around, but you can still technically just walk wherever you want to go.
A lot of this stuff I'm going to be complaining about probably opens up later, but it's getting to that point. They say it's not necessarily about the destination, it's about the journey.
Yeah.
And when a game takes so many hours to really kind of click, that's what kind of pulled me away from like Ragnarok. I loved God of War Ragnarok, but the first fucking 10 hours was boring to me. Lots of puzzles. There's
this other weird disconnect too that I'm noticing from a lot of people, is that there really hasn't been a whole, like, if you really think about it, like, when did Final Fantasy X come out?
I don't remember. Many moons ago.
It's been like Final Fantasy X was 23 years ago. Came out in 2000. Okay. So in that amount of time, they've really only come out with now 6 other Final Fantasy games. And most of those Final Fantasy games were never relevant on a larger consumer scale. To be honest with you, I think people just forgot what it's like to play a fucking Final Fantasy game. This is how they've always been. They've always been major exposition, tons of story, watching the characters talk to each other, and then you go out
reading the characters.
But the other games are a lot of reading. So like where people are like, oh, it's like a movie. It's like, have you never played Final Fantasy before? Like they've all been like this.
Ian,
plus, on top of that, the thing is where the biggest disconnect comes from is those older RPG versions, Final Fantasy 10, 8, 9, 7, whatever. Those ones have these open areas where you're just running around and farming. So those big spells, or those big time gaps where there's not a lot of exposition, is usually because you're just running around exploring, fighting things, and leveling up your characters, rather than just beelining it to the story pieces. And that part doesn't exist in this game. And I think that's why the whole movie style thing is where people are kind of picking that up from, because you don't have that open world area grind fest that you normally do in a Final Fantasy.
And as I said, the story for me right now, I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. I don't have a problem necessarily with what I'm seeing. It's just how often it comes up in between gameplay. Like it's a lot. The graphics are pretty nice. Some set pieces are flat out gorgeous.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, that Crystal City, the Dragon's Reach or Dragon's Head.
Yeah, there's a lot of pretty areas in the game so far. Again, I'm only like 5-6 hours in, but really good stuff so far. Now here's my issues, and this is early on, people. Combat seems very limited. I'm hitting square a lot. Square. You know, then hit one of the ultimate abilities or whatever they are. It just seems like it's very, very, very limited right now. Hopefully this opens up and I get way more abilities later. I haven't really looked into it.
It does by a long shot. Currently, as it stands, when you start out, you only have access to Phoenix. After you've progressed the story enough, you have 3 other summons to cycle through. So you'll have 2, 4, 6. You have 6 other abilities. Actually, technically, 9 other abilities. And then also you'll get Limit Break as well. So there's a whole lot of juggling of different stuff and mechanics. So you do get also on top of that, the enemies in the game, as you continue through, get far more complex. Like,
thank you,
insanely.
Oh my God, yes, that's one of the gripes I have. The bosses are so stupid. Like it's so far. Seriously, I've not died once. It's like easy mode, and I'm playing in the action mode. But everything just seems really easy. I'm just running through shit. Like,
yeah, it is. Initially.
And my God, whoever made the lock-on mechanic, it's completely broken. Lock-on does not work. It's weird. Like, it doesn't work like it does in other games anyway. You lock onto a character, usually you face that character and you can run around and still, but in this game, it doesn't translate to that. It's like, I don't know. I can run off and it doesn't really go to
this might just be
I
haven't had any issue with the lock on.
I don't like the
all you
lock
do is
on
tap
mechanic.
it though. So I don't know.
Yeah. But yeah, it seems very easy. It's very linear for me right now. It just feels like it's on rails.
Yeah. No, initially for the very first half, I'm not going to lie, it definitely had me feeling a little bit disconnected when I was first starting it. The story beats, the music is absolutely fantastic. The graphics of the game are beautiful. However, the actual combat and stuff was you were getting very limited pieces of it, and there wasn't a lot. And because of that, it just kind of felt like I was just sitting there watching a movie most of the time. Once you get through some of that exposition at the very beginning of the game, it opens up. There's a lot more combat. You end up getting some more abilities. You kind of go through your skill trees and unlock some more stuff. And then it has this really cool vertical progression that you don't have in other Final Fantasy games, where like in other Final Fantasies, you get better by leveling up your character and learning new abilities. In this Final Fantasy, you get better by actually you being better at playing the game. Being better with combos, being better with dodging, learning how to parry, all that kind of stuff.
But the loot just feels kind of lame to me so far.
It's terrible. But it's always been that way in every Final Fantasy.
But that's not an excuse. Like,
I know.
You got to have something compelling to drive somebody that's into like the loot kind of games. And like I pick up like a sword and it's like, okay, it does 10 more damage and it looks slightly different from the sword that I have. Woo! Yep. Awesome. Amazing.
No, I 100% agree. There's a lot of the Final Fantasy community that was actually trying to take shots at that, but then they failed to like look back and realize that every single Final Fantasy game has always had like a pretty basic loot and itemization system.
So, I like my big open worlds. I want to explore, and so far it's like I've said, it's been on rails, and I'm kind of just like going down paths, and sometimes there'll be like path A, path B. You can mainline it, or you can go over here, fight something, and then go back to the other path. And that's pretty much the exploration I get right now. And it's not great. For me, it's let me see what I wrote down here. The upgrade paths don't feel that great either. Like so far, what I'm seeing with the upgrades, I'm not like blown away. I'm hoping more open up though, because right now I just see one circle and it's like,
yeah, there's more.
Okay, yeah, but I need more. I need more than that. But yeah, and the performance mode, that's the other thing. The performance mode in this game, and this is going to lead to a bigger conversation about these consoles, honestly. The performance mode is horrendous. And it's just as bad or maybe worse than Jedi Survivor. Both of them seem to go down to 720p and when they're in performance mode. And but here in Final Fantasy, there's this issue that I'm having with the game in performance mode where it seems to stutter a lot. And it got to the point where I was getting sick, like physically, like ill. I get motion sickness really easy. And I'm playing this and I'm seeing all the stuttering and stuff. And I was sitting there and I was going, man, I'm getting a headache from this. I had to switch it to graphics mode, that quality mode, 30 FPS. There you've got the motion blur though, that's on like steroids. It's like, bro, everything's blurry when you turn. But it's the mode that it's not getting me sick. So I have to play in this graphics mode, which leads me more into that bigger topic of these consoles. It seems like they've tapped out. Yeah. And here's the thing. And I don't want people to run with this because this is just my observation. And this is just what I've been feeling after talking to people that are very in the know on this stuff. I'll just say that. I don't even want to allude to who I've been talking to on this, but
Phil Spencer.
No, definitely not Phil. But this person has told me expect more 30 frames games on these consoles and expect more performance modes that are reducing resolutions down to 720p and not being very good. Mm-hmm. It's just the fact that tech has moved so fast within the last 3 years and it has nothing to do with lazy developers, guys. Mm-hmm. It's honestly that tech has moved forward so much that your even 3080 is so much better than what we've got in the Series X or a PlayStation 5.
It's light years ahead.
And then you've got the CPU. You've got way better CPUs now in the PC space. These consoles are essentially PCs, guys. That's one thing that a lot of people don't realize when we're talking about this stuff. Like a lot of people will say, well, with consoles, they bring more out of them later on because they learn them and everything. They're freaking PCs now. They're not like these consoles that we used to have, like the PS3 and that cell processor and stuff, where they had to find out how to get every bit out of it. By the end of the generation, things were looking great. This isn't like that anymore. This is basically a small form factor PC in your living room. That's what these consoles are. They are indeed, a lot of these developers, not all of them, a lot of the developers right now are indeed using the tools. You've heard people say, wait till they use the tools. They are now using the tools. One of those tools is FSR. And if you look at games like Final Fantasy 16 and Jedi Survivor, FSR isn't very hot. Because even taking that 720p image and, scaling it up, it looks blurry. It does not look great. And I hate to sound like doom and gloom here, but this is what it is. This is where, I know, Boba, we're only 3 years into this gen. I get it. But I'm telling you, these consoles, you're not going to see much better than what we're getting now. You're not.
No.
In terms of performance.
Yeah. And it's the main reason that the last gen games run so well on the newer consoles, because it has the power to run them at 60 frames. Nice.
They had all that overhead.
They had all the overhead.
They had to create games for those games. So like games like Spider-Man even.
Yeah.
Essentially, Spider-Man 2 is a last gen game.
Yeah.
I know some PlayStation guys don't want to hear that, but it is. I fully feel like most of that game you can port over to the whole game. You could port it over to the PlayStation 4 and run it. It would just be scaled down a lot, not look as good, but I do believe you can do that. A lot of these games that were on PlayStation 4, cross-gen games, they're basically, of course, we had all that overhead on the PlayStation 5. There it is, that's how we got the 60 frames.
Honestly, this is a really, I don't want to get too far in the weeds, but you have to kind of blame Microsoft and Sony both when they first initially talked about these consoles. They told you that they were a 2080 graphics card.
Well,
it's close.
I think that the equivalent that some people had said was 2070 Super.
Yeah.
Which is fine. And 3 years ago, that was fine. But it's moved that fast.
Well, it's not even that. So they quoted their 2070s, and you're going to be getting 60 frames to 120 frames at 4K resolution is what they told you. Right? That's what they sold. I mean, the PlayStation 5 box has an 8K. I just looked at one. It's got an 8K on the deal. So obviously, as a consumer, you're going to think, oh, 8K gaming's got to do that. It is hard on PC to game at 4K on a 2070. It's hard.
It's hard to get 1440p 60 on even a 3080 with some games I've heard.
Yeah,
it's just where these developers are now focusing more on resource hogs like ray tracing. It seems like a lot of these developers want to implement that in their games. Jedi, they're forcing that ray tracing in the performance mode on console. They're not giving us an option to turn it off. So that's why it looks the way it does and runs the way it does.
In a lot of cases, the ray tracing actually helps, though. Now, it didn't used to be that way, but now that they're realizing actually how to utilize it properly to help shadows form the way that they're supposed to and not bog down the system as nearly as much as they used to. But the problem is that ray tracing specifically was a technology that was in such an infant phase that anytime you tried to turn it on, it just absolutely shit the bed.
And I don't want people to run with thinking that I'm saying that these consoles can't make a good looking game and perform at 60 frames. They can, but these developers are choosing to use features that go well beyond the specs of these consoles.
They have a RAM problem on the consoles. It's just it's a CPU and RAM. I don't even think it's a GPU as an issue. It's just
a GPU is an issue in some cases. Yeah.
But the CPU and the RAM seems to be the biggest issue.
Yeah,
with those
consoles.
And like I said, I'm not saying that PC's better. It's not even about that. It's about looks like developing for console. They are going for fidelity. They are going for graphical fidelity over performance. Because it showcases better than performance does. A lot of people now have 4K televisions, and now if you're going to try to put a game out at 1080p, it's going to look bad on a big screen TV.
Yeah, that's
4K trying to upscale it. Most of these new gen games aren't even native 4K. They're 1080p and they upscale it. Yeah, so that's
which there's a whole slew of issues that come along with upscaling as well, right?
Yeah. I just think that I want people not to really feel like everything's gonna have a 60 frames mode.
It's not.
It's just not gonna happen. I mean, look at Starfield, and if any of you out there, Xbox guys listening and saying, oh, what you're saying is a bunch of crap. These consoles are only 3 years old. Just look at Starfield. You're defending Starfield because of the same stuff I'm talking to you about now. These developers are creating games that just go beyond these consoles' capabilities. Yeah. And so
Starfield is a great example of that. They literally made a game that is so big, that has so many moving parts, so many components that you can't have that gameplay at 60. Not on a console. And I guarantee it will on PC because it has enough hardware to be able to do so.
Yeah. And I'm of the mind where it's I'm looking at the situation and I'm kind of upset on one hand because I'm like, damn it, I was sold on 60 frames. But at the same time, after talking to, some people I was talking to, I kind of got an understanding that this is just what happens in the tech world. Things move on. And I just think the developers are not going to hold back because, we've got the consoles here, because there are people out there that love 30 frames. There are people out there that don't even care about 60 frames whatsoever. The majority of gamer out there, which are the casuals, unfortunately,
they don't even know what frames are.
They want they want fidelity. They want 4K.
Yeah.
They want these things. They don't want anything they don't care about frame rates. It's It's just us. It's people that, you know, in my chat that want
these small
those higher
communities
frames.
that
I mean,
Enthusiasts.
I'll throw my dirty laundry out there. All right, I play currently on a 3060. Okay, and that seems
nobody
like
needs to see your assless chaps.
Yeah, so on a 3060, I play at 1080p monitor, 144 hertz, but it's 1080. I don't have games that dip below 100. I'm talking frames per second. All right, so
you can
it's because I'm not sitting that far away from what I'm seeing. I don't need it to be.
It's not just that you don't make. You're actually making some concessions too. You're actually taking away from your visual fidelity in favor of frame rate. You have those options on PC. When I used to PC game, I did the same thing. Lower the shadow quality. That's one of the first things I did. I didn't give a shit about shadows. Like, I'd lower that bitch. I would do anything I could to get above 60 frames, to get above 100 frames at times, you know, and this is sad because my computer was, oh man, what was it, like a 950 GT or something? It was way back in the day. But
I mean, I'm playing on high at settings, but like I said, because I'm choosing a lower resolution, I'm still getting a very good fidelity, a good quality picture with a good frame rate. Like I said, 4K, I don't care about it.
We're still going to have great looking games. It's just, you know, 60 frames is just not in the cards for a lot of games that are coming, guys. It's just, it's not, unfortunately. So don't expect it all the time. If it's a first person shooter, like, you know, something that's not created too big or have ray tracing and all this stuff implemented, even with ray tracing, hell, look at, what is it? Can't think of it. The shooter that Doom has full ray tracing and looks great on console. Yep. You can have games like that. But if they push the fidelity, the graphics, and try to do things with these new, you know, what these new cards can do on the computer side, it's not going to translate well to the console side. And we're going to have concessions there. And one of those concessions right away is going to be frame rate for the developer. That's what they're going to axe first.
I've got an interesting thought experiment for you, Fonz.
Yeah.
I think that the next set of consoles that come out should be moddable. That if PlayStation or Xbox owners want to upgrade their GPU or their RAM or their CPU or their memory, that they should be able to do the same just as much as a PC player does. So if they want those higher fidelities or they want those faster frame rates, then they can actually opt into those kind of things rather than just have this one box that's unchangeable. And as these games and the technology grows far past what that console can do, now all of a sudden they got to go to the store and buy a whole new brand box.
I know, but a lot of people wouldn't do that. There's a lot of people that wouldn't.
No,
do that.
They wouldn't, and I don't.
So it doesn't make much sense for them to create something like that. Like the hardcore, some of us anyway would do that, but we're in the minority there. Dave in the chat, he says, sounds like we're making excuses for lazy devs. Are you calling Bethesda lazy because Starfield's 30 frames? Are they being lazy for that then?
It won't be where I play it.
I'm just saying on console, you know. The thing is, I don't think they at any resolution they couldn't get it down to 720p and hit a stable 60 on Starfield with what they're attempting to do on the console.
I bet they could. I don't know. He said there's the headroom's there for it. I bet they could.
I don't think they can because because again, it goes to the CPU when you're talking about all the stuff in the world, the detail they like to put in their games to be able to pick up everything and stuff within the world. Like there's so much going on in the game, it's going to tax the CPU. That's one thing they've already stated. When he says, it hits 60 frames, okay, it can hit 60 frames just staring up at the stars, you know. But once you look at the world, it's probably going to 30 frames. Yeah. So there's like lock it at 30. You know, I get where they're going, but I don't know, man. I feel like we're going to get a lot of that stuff coming. And again, if you guys knew the person I was talking to that's telling me, hey, you're going to get more 30 frames coming, more 30 frames games, you guys wouldn't be talking to me like this. You wouldn't be like saying I'm putting out some kind of conspiracy theory. I'm just telling you. This is what
it's
I'm
already
hearing from
been the average so far, right?
Yeah,
it's been the average with all the games we've seen so far, right?
All the next gen games.
Yeah, every next gen game that has come out either has no performance mode or a shitty performance mode.
Yep.
That's how it's been. Again, you can have like an FPS game, first person shooter that looks, decent, run at 60 frames. That's fine. But it's not truly next gen. I mean, it can run on last gen hardware, I'm sure. That's just, I don't know. That's the way it is.
I'm almost positive we're going to see a mid gen refresh. I imagine we're probably going to see a new PlayStation probably 2024. I don't really know what Xbox is going to do because they did the weaker and stronger console, and it will super alienate the S buyers, which is the majority of Xbox console owners. So I don't know how that's going to work, but I imagine there's going to be a mid-gen, because in that FTC, the cool thing about that court case is you get to hear a little bit of dirt. And they, from Sony documents, they're looking at a 2028 PS6. So
yeah, they were saying something about, I overheard mid-gen. Somebody state that they were like Jim Ryan was trying to hold back specs for the PS6 if Microsoft were to acquire ABK, because they're like, we don't want to show you our PS6, what we're doing with it. Like, yeah, come on. That's crazy talk. All right, I don't want to get too far into the weeds with that stuff, but I'm just trying to warn people out there. This is what I'm seeing with games. You're going to have some pretty games out there, some great looking games. You're going to even have some ray traced, global illumination, just like in Starfield, but you're not going to get the 60 frames with these types of games. You're not. It's just the way it is. Moving on though. One of the other things that we learned from that whole thing, the court case or whatever, this is the one thing I took away from it, because again, I'm not following all that. But one thing I saw on Twitter was that I guess that's where it came out that Indiana Jones is exclusive to Xbox, which surprised the heck out of me. Number one, the main reason why, guys, is because this is Disney and LucasArts. I thought for sure, no, that's multiplat. Like we've all been preparing for that.
And the good argument that Xbox has for that is that they have a Disney game with Spider-Man. They have a Disney asset with Spider-Man, and so this will be their Disney asset to have as an exclusive.
That's true.
So,
yeah, no, it's true.
How are they going to push it up against that? Be like, oh well, no, only Sony can have the exclusive Disney products. Do they really want to show their hand that hard?
They did. It's super interesting. I'm not a huge fan of Destin Legary, but I like he covers the stuff pretty good. And he's if you're interested, chat, go watch his videos that he has on the stuff that's been coming out on this. Super interesting, super telling stuff. Sony's getting their dirty air aired like bad. Like,
yeah,
really.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm actually really happy about a lot of this stuff, because to be honest with you, like, I mean, one, I just don't like this idea that PlayStation and Sony are just this darling child that needs to get protected.
No, they don't. They don't.
You want to hear something crazy? You want to hear something crazy? You want to know why Microsoft bought Bethesda? This is in here. It's in the court case. You want to know why they bought Bethesda?
Why is that?
Because Sony exclusive Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo, and they were going to do it to Starfield. And then that's when Phil's like, nah, we're good.
Well, we actually heard that years ago. I remember the Twitter space a couple years back, where the Sony guys there were all excited because they heard rumors that Sony was going to buy the exclusivity to Starfield. So they were really hyping it up and hyping up Starfield and saying exclusive to Sony, exclusive to Sony. So I guess now it's come out, like you said, and it was true. They were trying to do that.
Spencer was like, nah, how about not?
Wow. He just took their toys away. He just said, nope.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. That's crazy. I will say this.
I love Phil.
I haven't been listening to any of the court case, but I've heard little bits and pieces from people like you, Mark, today. I didn't hear about that, but what I'm hearing though is kind of interesting. Maybe I should look at some of this stuff, because that sounds pretty fascinating.
Destin did a really good job on just kind of bullet pointing all the hot topic stuff. But yeah, he said that they had to buy Bethesda and Starfield because Sony was buying so many third-party exclusives that Microsoft was starting to become not very valid in the marketplace, and so they were scared going forward. They were worried about going forward. And this ABK deal is more about the mobile than it is about anything else. You need to watch it because Ryan got caught lying a lot.
Really?
Ryan.
Oh boy,
coming out with it.
That's loose lips dude. Ryan right there.
Yeah, I like it's an interesting development because it's really fun watching the whole like Sony victim Sony as a victim mentality getting kind of undressed in front of your eyes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Boba Fett Gaming, he says they'll learn to get more from the software and hardware over time plus creation engine. He's talking about, Starfield not being 60, the creation engine being part of that. Maybe the creation engine is part of why that particular game ain't 60, but I'm telling you that I don't see a difference or much difference between the consoles we have now and a PC. Like, I know they have similar parts. They've got their GPUs, their CPUs. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what they can pull out of their butts, like 6 years from now. Like, oh, we've got this thing that we didn't know we had, or I don't know. Like, yeah. It's different from how it used to be with consoles. I don't know, man. Like, I know that's what I would love to believe, but I don't see that happening anymore. They're just too much like PCs now. And PCs have moved so much further down the line. Like a 4090 just runs circles around the Series X a million times. Like, it's so much better.
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense to even compare. And of course, if you're a developer and you're creating a game, you want it to look amazing. You want it to look its best. You're not going to, make steep concessions to where, I've got to have it running on the Series S,
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's rough. I mean,
so mechanics have to go out the window. They're not going to do that.
No, it's crazy because of the RAM difference between the Series X and the Series S is so vast that like it is insane to think that this game should run exactly on the X as it should on the S is insane. Like, it should be downgraded significantly. And if they're making concessions to, like, if they're lessening first party games to get it to play on the S, that's shame on Microsoft. Shame on you.
But it's not. A lot of people are out there and they think, well, just lower the resolutions. It's not just that. It's mechanics. It's detail in the world. It's features that they want to use to make their games look better. Not only look better, but just from a developer's perspective, what I've heard is a lot of these features are quality of life features for them. They can create games faster, easier. I understand. And I understand your side too, because I was there too. I used to think, they could just lower the resolution. I'll play a game at 1080p. Just give me 1080p 60. And I still stand by that. I would say that if they could make a game 1080p 60 frames in performance mode, I will definitely play a game in that mode. But it's not happening. You're seeing them go down all the way below 720p at times. Jedi goes below 720p at times. And it's a blurry mess. It looks awful. And even with FSR, it doesn't help. So I don't know what other kind of features they can pull out their butts to create, a game like that to even look better as it's running 60 frames or attempting to hit that 60. But I just don't see it, man. I just don't see it. Yeah, you know what? Good statement.
Do it.
Onyx.
Oh
here.
God, Dreamcast guy, your favorite.
Look, like that. What the hell is up with that picture?
That
is scary.
That is what happens when Carrot Top has a baby with the sister.
What?
That's what happens.
Oh God,
I can't even look at your picture, dude. What the hell is that?
It was a face set on fire and put out with a ball pin hammer.
Oh my gosh.
He says some horror music, please.
I got to cover it. Buy a PC, Fonz. Join the dark side. PSMR, baby.
Come to us.
Look, I've already stated to some friends of mine that I am going to start saving up to buy a PC. And I do not want to game on PC. I love consoles, but it's consoles are being left behind. Quickly.
Well, okay, you look at it this way, and this isn't like I said.
I want 60 frames.
I've enjoyed playing on the PS5. I'm a big Xbox guy. I have been, just like Ian. I've been Xbox Live for the last 20 plus years. I still play my Xbox games on my PC.
It's not an Xbox versus whatever thing.
No. I'm just saying console and
what
PC.
Do you want out of your machines to play your games?
Yeah,
I've got to the point where I want 60 frames or above. I don't want to play my games at 30 all the time.
Yeah. I just don't compromise. I don't want compromising. You know what I mean?
And
I don't want to have to compromise what I want.
Yeah. Now it's like a double-edged sword for me, because part of me hates tinkering. I fucking hate it because I get stuck tinkering. But then part of me loves it because I can get those 100+ frames by tinkering. That's that. And some people were telling me nowadays, though, with PC, there are just like one-click settings where it's like, okay, you want a performance mode, you click this and boom, it'll get you, a lot of frames that still look good and you don't have to mess with it.
Depending on which card you buy, if you go NVIDIA, you can download their NVIDIA app and you can actually just click for it to optimize for you. It'll optimize each game for you.
Yeah. There's actually a really cool feature that a lot of games have now, which most games will actually just sense what hardware your computer already has, and then it will just tailor the game settings to your hardware.
Yep.
So like, for just as an example, like Diablo 4, when I loaded it up, it detected all of my hardware and said, okay, these are the best settings for your hardware, threw it up, and then all of a sudden now, I get 140 some odd frames playing the game in like 1440.
Yeah. Danny Passion Official had a question here. He said, Ian, think about if every game would play as they used to back in the day, back in the 2K era. Look at Resident Evil 4 Remake. It plays like a 2023 game, as it should be. I think this is alluding to Final Fantasy 16, maybe feeling a bit dated, maybe. I don't know.
Well, here's oddly enough is the Resident Evil engine. What is the name of the engine, Ian?
The RE
engine?
Oh, the RE engine. Yeah, the RE engine is one of the few engines that can run native 4K.
That's like it's also like the most flexible engine in the entire industry.
Yeah,
it's wild what they can pull off with the RE engine, because that RE engine is the same thing they use for Monster Hunter.
Yeah, but I don't know. I'm going back to the whole 30 frames because people are talking about that. But
yeah, you're good.
No, I look. It's going to be these consoles are going to have great games. We got Starfield coming. Yes, it's 30 frames, but it's going to be an amazing game. I'm having to play Final Fantasy 16 at 30. I'm having a good time with it. I have my issues with the game, but so far I'm sticking with it. I'm going to play this game throughout and see how it ends. I like the story and stuff in the game right now, and I like the characters. And I think if I didn't like the characters, man, and I didn't like that story, I would put this game down in a heartbeat. Why play it? There's so much of that. You can't really say I'm just playing it for the action, because you're going to be waiting a while. For that action.
The thing is, I was having a conversation with people about Final Fantasy, and I was like, I'm like, when you talk about like the things that you really enjoy about like older Final Fantasy games, like people are always talking about, oh, well, the mechanics are different, or this and this, it's an action game and this and this. And I'm like, at the end of the day, what makes a good Final Fantasy game is the music, the story, and the characters. And that's basically the only thing that you ever really remember about the other games. You don't sit back and go, man, the sphere grid in Final Fantasy X was so fun to play with. Like, no, it was cool. It was a cool feature of the game, but you don't really remember a lot of the mechanics and say like, that's the reason why you loved the game so much. No, it's the story. It's the moments that stung true, whatever sat with you that you were like, man, I remember that moment in the game that this happened, or something like that. Some resolution that you find that you end up reflecting, and maybe it means something to you in your real life or something like that. And I think that's the reason why a lot of people enjoy Final Fantasy games to begin with, is specifically for that story.
It's also big grandiose moments where you've got, fighting a big freaking, dominant or whatever in this game. It's just, there's some crazy stuff that
just wait.
It looks cool. Like,
yeah, there's some cool moments.
This game is so particle effect heavy. There's like particle effects everywhere. Like, I'm like, no wonder it's freaking burning up PS5s. Apparently this game is burning up PS5s. Like, they're getting destroyed.
Has it?
Yeah.
I heard that Spawn Wave. Most of it's from being like dirty PS5s. So he did like a video on how to clean them out.
Clean your PS5, people. Yeah. I used to clean my PS4 all the time because if I didn't, it sounded like a jet engine.
Yeah.
When it started to sound
loud. The PS5 is got to be the ugliest console I've ever seen too. I didn't know it was that big. That's ridiculous. That is so bad. That is ridiculous.
I remember the first day I got it. I took it out of the box and I was on party chat with friends. I was like, what the F? I was like, why is it so big? Like, and they were like, what are you watching right now? And I'm like, the PS5, okay? Get your mind out of the gutter.
Assless chaps. That's what he's watching.
But no, it's huge. It's a huge console. Not only, did you have a PS4 before this?
Who, me?
Yeah.
No, hell no.
Okay, so you didn't have a PS4. So this is your first. Okay.
Yeah,
if you had a PS4.
Well, I had a PS3.
Okay, but if you had a PS4 and you had some saves on there and you didn't save it to the cloud, or let me tell you, you have to pay for cloud saves on PlayStation.
Shocking.
So if you didn't pay for cloud saves, like I didn't, I had to take each of my files, put it on a little, flash drive, take it from the PS4, put it into my PlayStation 5 and download each one onto my PlayStation 5, all the files. And I was like, why? Because they want you to pay for cloud saves.
That's so bad.
I was so pissed at that. I was livid. I was like, where's my saves? I was yelling and they were just laughing at me in the party chat. I was like, where's my Ghost save? I'm going to play Ghost of Tsushima. And I couldn't find it. And they were like, you don't know? You have to pay for cloud. And I was like,
that's so stupid.
I didn't know.
It's terrible.
That's just one of those greedy things that Sony likes to do. But hey, all these companies do something greedy, like Xbox raising prices, people.
Raising prices.
Now, we saw Phil Spencer, just last year state that, hey, they might do it too. Remember, he was in that interview and says, hey, one day we're going to raise prices on, it could be console, it could be Game Pass. Well, guess what? It's both. It's both. And it's coming. So apparently they're raising prices to meet the same price as the PlayStation 5 in those territories wherever PlayStation 5 costs $50 more. The Xbox Series X is going to cost $50 more. So will the Series S, I believe.
Nope. Series S is staying the same.
No, but they're getting a new SKU, remember? It's going to take over the old Series S. So if you can't find a Series S now, it's going to be $50 more after this.
Oh, because it's going to be the upgraded one.
It's going to be the upgraded one.
Did they do that specifically for Starfield because it wouldn't fit on the regular Series S?
No, I think they did it specifically for this, the $50 upcharge. That's what I think they did it for.
Yeah,
I think it was a smart way to go. Hey, let's give them a little bit more memory, and hey, $50. But yeah,
well, at least they're sweetening the pot on it. You know what I mean? At least you're getting something out of it.
Yeah, at least you're getting something. But
is it just the 50 gig or sorry, not 50 gig? Is it just the memory increase and that's it?
Yes, that's it.
That is way overpriced for how much memory you're getting.
Well,
memory's so cheap nowadays.
Yeah, but that's what's happening, and this is all going to happen. I guess that's happening in August, and on July 6th. So I guess in August, current subscribers of Game Pass, our subscription will go up by $2. Not you guys, because you're on PC. Game Pass.
Ultimate. No. I'm on Ultimate.
Oh, you're on Ultimate too?
Mm-hmm. Same here. Yeah, I have Ultimate too.
$2. By $2, people, it's going up. So, yep. That's going up in August for us. And for people that are new subscribers, it's going up July 6th by $2. So how do you feel about that, guys?
I have I love Xbox. I do. And I love their games. But like Game Pass, they did a really good job marketing, saying it's the best deal in gaming. But when you look on there, there's not a lot of good games to play. And I keep paying my monthly sub, and I constantly think about it. And I'm like, Starfield's coming out.
There's a lot of good games to play.
There are. They come out.
Not for you.
They come out. Yeah, as the consumer, like me paying for it.
Yeah.
Like I get it. Atomic Heart was pretty decent. You know, they have their here's and theirs.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it's AAA games, or not AAA. It's AA, which I'm an indie guy, but the ones that they pick for some reason are not the great ones. I don't know what the problem is, but anyway, I don't think that, like, for me personally, financially, $2 more a month isn't really going to affect me. But I could see how that could affect some gamers. You know, it just raising something for a luxury like gaming is kind of a bad deal. I expected it. I mean, if you're expecting all these Call of Duty games to be on Game Pass, if you're expecting all the Blizzard stuff to be on Game Pass, it's gonna start costing money.
I didn't expect it this soon though. I thought it would be raised next year after the whole Call of Duty thing is brought in, all that. I thought they would wait for that. Because I look at the situation as a major L right now, because they just came out and said that they're making the most money they've made. You know, they're a big corporation, and then they're like,
let's make it a little more.
$2 more. And a lot of people are like, it's just $2 though. It's like, do you know what $1 would do for them from everybody? Like, that's
an estimated
millions of dollars. Like
$40 million a month.
So it's a lot of money, people.
Yeah, it is.
I can't justify it based on, you know, well, we knew they were going to raise it at some point. It's like, they have to have a reason to raise it. Right now, there is no compelling reason that everybody has to, you know, get the price raised on Game Pass. Like, for you, or me even, like, I'm more of a AAA gamer. All right. I dabble in indies, but I mainly play the AAA games. Right now, they haven't really given me a big AAA game every quarter like they said they would. It's coming soon. I realize that. But yeah, I just $2 for me right now extra. It's like, that's a lot.
But should you be expected to pay more for coming soon? That's like that's I don't understand the price hike. I just don't get it. Right now, when you don't necessarily have anything to really invest in on Game Pass at the moment, like, there is a lot of really good AA indie titles, stuff like that. There are some awesome games that I've played on Game Pass, and for the most part, I've been pretty happy to have it. However, there's been long stints of, I mean, at least since the start of this year, where there's really not a whole lot to play it. I mean, there's not a whole lot of reason to have it. Now, mind you, I'm also at the same time like, oh man, it's going to be cool to play Lies of P or Starfield when it comes out, but it's like, you know, well, why am I paying for that now? Like, I feel like people should probably get into the habit of just cutting the subscription and then coming back when there's stuff to play.
Here's where my rant starts on Game Pass though. Now, I'm seeing a trend, and I'm hearing this is a trend that unfortunately may continue for first party for Xbox. So, you know how we get all their games in Game Pass? Woohoo! Great. What did we see during the Direct when Starfield said, order these versions, play it 5 days early?
Yeah.
Okay. So many of us suffer from FOMO. I am one of those people. If you're telling me a game that I really want to play is going to be on Game Pass, great. Oh, but you can play it 5 days early? Fuck you. I'm going to buy the game now, you asshole. They're forcing me to do it. Like, and I know a lot of you, they're not forcing you, they're typing, they're not forcing you to do it. This is what you're, of course they're not forcing me to do it, but I feel forced because I can't stay away from playing something like Starfield for 5 freaking days.
No, plus, I mean, you being a YouTube creator, you have to be in the know on stuff like this, especially a game like Starfield.
So
like it's
there's people that are looking forward to your opinions on things. So like, obviously it pushes your hand even further, right?
So let's just say, what if, because again, I'm hearing things. What if Microsoft does this for all their games? Yes, it's in Game Pass, but guess what? 5 days early, if you buy the, this tiered edition for $80 or $89, you can get, 5 days early there. And it's just, it makes Game Pass for somebody like me who likes the AAA gaming, it devalues it big time.
If that's the case, I'm going to buy it on Steam. I mean, Microsoft still gets their money, but that's kind of crazy.
So,
I forgot about this.
So I'm just chat. If
You
they
would
do
think
this,
that-
would you guys be upset by that?
You would think that they would want to incentivize Game Pass and make it where the Game Pass people are the ones that get to play it early,
And then
not the other way around.
I was complaining to my good friend Colt Eastwood on this, and he told me this. He said, I want to ask you this, though. What would you do if they offered you, for a little more money, a higher tiered version of Game Pass, and you got those games early?
Oh God, that's so gross.
And I'm like,
so gross, guys.
and I'm like, then what the hell is the day and date thing about?
It's all of a sudden it just becomes Netflix and Hulu and all that other stuff where it's like, oh, if you don't want the ads, you can pay $5 more a month for no ads or all this. No,
and I know this is a scenario where I'm talking in terms of this is just like what ifs,
It's not a what if, man. You know it's coming.
But
let's be real.
But what if
subscriptions do what subscriptions do?
What if they offer you a higher tier for $2 more a month and you get those games 5 days early? But then it becomes the question, when is the real release date then? Because
it's just
if
like
every
with the
game
Diablo.
seems to be coming out 5 days early, well, then the real release date is 5 days early. You are playing it 5 days late.
$35.
Yeah,
FOMO
they're just
costs
trying to copy off
$35.
all these other people that are doing these early accesses for $15 or $30 more if you buy whatever edition. They did the same thing with Harry or the Hogwarts Legacy. They did it with Diablo, and now Xbox wants to emulate what they're doing and try to get, because it's free money. Why wouldn't you want to do it? It's free money because there's people that
they got me. They got me.
Yeah,
freaking handcuffed over here. They're like, FOMO? What did he say? He suffers from FOMO? Starfield 5 days early. You fucking asshole. I'm looking at the price. I go, really?
Hey, Fonz pre-order now and you get those assless chaps early.
Straight up, man. They got me good. But I mean, for a lot of people that don't care, they'll just get, Game Pass and wait the 5 days. But essentially, if they do that with all their first party games, then a Game Pass subscriber is playing those games late, in my opinion. They're not playing them. They're not playing them on time or day one. You're playing them 5 days late.
Yeah,
because if that becomes the trend, yeah.
And to be honest, the way I look at Game Pass, I have like a kind of a love-hate with it, as you can tell. Like the people who are in Game Pass are your hardcore Xbox fans. Right. This isn't like I don't imagine a whole lot of casual people are in the Game Pass service unless it's a family deal. It's a huge slap in the face to go, okay, well, this is the market share that I have, and this is the market share that I'm going to take advantage of to do this for Starfield. That is it's super gross. I saw your chat said that Forza is also the same thing.
Yeah.
It's just it'll be the model they go forward with.
So I am buying the $100 edition for Starfield for a game I could just wait 5 days to play it for essentially $15 a month or $16 a month. But Jesus, like, I'm going to do it because I have to play Starfield day one. I can't let it go by. Like, that's insane. And the thing that sucks about this too, again, F you, Microsoft, you just caused me to get my vacation all messed up because I had vacation for that week of Starfield, and now I got to move it or try to move it because I got it 5 days early. So now I have to have my vacation 5 days before that. Waiting 5 days will kill me when it comes to certain games. Not every game. I can wait for a lot of games. Like, for instance, Fable looks decent to me, but I'm not like a huge Fable fan, so I can wait 5 days. It's not a big deal.
And actually, general curiosity here, when people say like Fable looks like have we even seen anything else outside of just a teaser trailer?
Yeah, that teaser trailer, apparently there was a developer that came out and said that is actual gameplay in the certain sequences. When she throws the fireball and stuff, he says that he created that. That's basically what it looks like.
And that giant chase scene, it looks like it's a...
Yeah, the giant chasing. Yep. It looks really good. But again, not being an ultimate Fable fan, I can wait 5 days. But something like Starfield... Oh my God! I gotta have it. I'm like a crackhead, you know. I'm sitting there just shaking, watching, looking at the $100.
You've been waiting since what? Skyrim?
Getting mad, getting pissed off. Like I'll pay it. You know, it really sucks.
It does. I can. I mean, didn't they add like you could play Redfall for free on Game Pass day one, but there was also a $35 like add-on you could buy. Or something like that. I think there was.
I just feel bad for whoever paid for that.
Yeah. So I mean, they're gonna have to try to monetize as much as they can. Oh, Tom Koch, or is it Coach? I don't know. Koch. Anyway, Fonz says he says Fonz gets a thumbs up for having my two cool guys on. I don't know why.
Tom's the man.
Anyways, Tom is the man.
Thank you, Tom. I appreciate you. And hit the thumbs up, guys. I would appreciate it if you haven't hit the thumbs up. If you don't like it, I understand. You can hit the thumbs down or don't do anything. Don't do anything I tell you to do, because you don't have to if you don't want to. You can just sit there and say, F you, I'm not hitting the thumbs up, and I'll be fine with that. I am not the... no, I'm not going to get into it. I almost did it. Ray Chi, I think his name is, Halo got a high score for coming soon features. Yeah, coming soon features like Forge that didn't come soon. I don't know. Yes, Mike, I'm a hype junkie. He's like, fucking hell, is this guy for real? This guy, hype junkie.
Can't do it.
Well, when it comes to certain games, I'm like that. Ian, I'm not even going to ask you. You did it for Diablo 4. You paid to play early.
I did.
So did I.
I couldn't help it.
We were, and it was worth it. It was worth it. Damn it!
I bought a skin day one too. So,
but
you're disgusting.
Here's the thing, though. If it was in Game Pass day one, would you have waited? No.
If it was no,
you would have bought it anyway.
No, I mean not early. Full price. I wouldn't pay $70 to play a game that I'm gonna, you know, like.
Wait a minute. Hold up. Diablo 4 coming out 5 days early. You pay the money for it, or you wait till your Game Pass subscription kicks in.
How much is the money for it? Are we talking full game price?
Full game price.
Benjis.
Oh yeah, no, I'd wait for $70. Are you kidding me?
Okay, Final Fantasy.
Yeah, same thing.
No, you're full of.
No, this dude's tight. He can bump in a wall and suck out a brick. I'm telling you. I'm telling you right now.
Really? I'm pretty tight. I'm pretty tight with my money, but damn it, when it comes to certain games, like I have to. Not
Marc
every game.
will listen to me talk about something I want to buy for probably like a year before I buy it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not every game though. Like
it's true.
There's a bunch of games that I don't care, to play 5 days early, Forza, all that. Like I can wait.
Yeah.
But yeah, Starfield, man, I have to.
Yeah, that's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer, man. That game is going to be a generational.
Because everybody's going to be talking about it, and they're going to be like, "Oh, did you see that part?" And I'm going to read it and go, "Damn it, I can't join in." And I'll just, I'll feel left out. So I don't want to be left out. I don't want to be the reindeer who doesn't get to play reindeer games. All right. PV 1973 says, "You guys don't bring up the fact that the early access is discounted with extras included."
Oh, okay.
Ooh, but what is the discounted price? What is the discounted price? And PV, I love you, brother, but the discounted price is still going to be pretty expensive compared to just paying your $16 a month, for Game Pass.
Yeah, if you're paying $16 a month for Game Pass, why am I spending? Yeah.
That's where I said, for me, it's like, should I just cut out the Game Pass at that point? If every game they're putting in their first party is going to be 5 days early sort of thing. I will question that big time when it comes. It depends on what they're giving me at the time, how many third parties they're giving me day and date and stuff like that. It would really depend on what's coming out that year for me to decide, okay, is this the time to stop Game Pass? That's basically what I have a problem with if this trend continues.
I honestly, if the ABK deal goes through, I wouldn't be shocked. I would not be shocked at all, especially if they put all of their titles on there. They put World of Warcraft on there, all the Activision titles. I wouldn't be surprised to see another price hike, and probably like a $4. I'm being serious.
I think that they'll have a separate tier, the Activision tier.
Oh no!
No, everything's not going to be tiered out, Ian.
Yes.
The Bethesda tier, the Activision tier.
Hey man, if it was me, that's what I would do. Like, y'all want to play some Bethesda games? Well, you need to have that Bethesda tier.
Yeah. Treat it like a cable company, man. Oh, you didn't get the sports package, did you? Well, you're not going to be playing those games anymore. No. D-Batch, we're not talking about raising the price of the Game Pass. We're talking about the possibility that Microsoft starts putting out their first-party games early if you choose to buy the game rather than wait for Game Pass, which seems to be, Diablo 4 did it. Dirty. Now you've got Starfield that's doing it, and I'm hearing that it may be something that continues forward for Microsoft, and I don't like it. Sorry, sir. Don't like it. Wade Johnson, thank you very much for the super chat. He says, Game Pass is like Netflix now. Lose customers and then increase the price. This makes no sense. Spencer needs to stop doing things that cost Xbox players with bad decisions. I don't think it's that doom and gloom. I don't like it, and I'm with you on that 100%, but they were going to raise it eventually. I know I said that shouldn't be an excuse, but next year it would have been raised. I'm sure of it, but it just sucks. Anytime they raise it, though, we're always going to go, damn it, they shouldn't have raised it. We're always going to say that. We're consumers. Yeah. Of course we don't like raising prices.
I mean, I got a question, and I asked Ian this, and this isn't like, it's not a conspiracy or anything. Do you think the price increase is based upon when Game Pass first came out, it was priced off of $60 games? Now they have to make the same profit margin of offering $70 games, because whatever deal they make with the developer, that shares changed. If the game of a price of 70 instead of 60 now, do you think that might be the increase? Why they do the increase?
I don't know. I think we're paying for their lawyers right now. That's what I think we're doing.
Shit, I can't even imagine how much they're paying in legal fees right now.
Yeah, it's got to be astronomical, but. Hey, you know what? Hopefully it'll all be done with soon, the ABK deal and all that stuff, and we won't have to hear from it anymore. But God Empire Sofa King says, ABK comes with a global price. Lock AM, or lock, am I right or wrong? Oh, game price lock. Sorry, I can't even read. Sorry, you didn't mess up there. No, ABK comes with a global price. I don't know what he's trying to say there.
I think he's trying to admit the same thing, that like when they acquire ABK, the value for Game Pass goes through the roof.
It does.
Like it increases far beyond what people are paying for it already, because now all of a sudden you have all the amount of Call of Duty players.
I know.
Mm-hmm. Do not underestimate how large Call of Duty is. It is probably second to maybe Minecraft and Fortnite.
But Phil Spencer's not one to do any kind of exclusivity deal where he's like, okay, so over here you're going to get this skin
it's not,
PlayStation doesn't have. So
it's not the exclusivity.
How many people are going to really migrate over because of the $70 versus $16 thing a month? I wonder how many Call of Duty players will do that.
What if you could play all of Call of Duty's backlog for $16 a month?
Holy I didn't even think about that.
That's been
a point of contention. No, hold on. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but if you go through the entire Call of Duty library right now, like if you wanted to go on Steam and buy it, it's like almost $500 or something like that to buy all the old games, their DLC and all that stuff. It's an insane, inordinate amount of money. There's tons of people that want to go back and play old Call of Duty 2, or they want to play the old version of Modern Warfare 2 or Black Ops and all that stuff. But The problem is that Activision doesn't actively support those games anymore. And if you do try to play them, you get hacked and whatnot because they don't actively police the servers. Now you bring all of that stuff into Game Pass, and now you make all of those games available for Game Pass. And then Microsoft on top of that will actually police those servers because it's under their umbrella. The value in Game Pass goes far beyond what people are probably imagining it's going to be just because of Call of Duty. We're not even adding in Diablo, World of Warcraft, StarCraft, Warcraft, I guess if people still play that, etc. You know what I mean? Holy smokes. Tony Hawk games.
D-Batch in the chat said, when this deal goes through, Game Pass will be a no-brainer, if not already. For a lot of people, yes. But what about this, D? What if the new or the next Call of Duty that comes into Game Pass day and date gives you a version you can get 5 days early for $80 or even $100?
It will.
Because that's what they're going to do. I mean, that's what it looks like the trend is. First Party is going to come out with a version you can buy 5 days early. And a lot of these Call of Duty players are going to buy it anyway. Mm-hmm. So if they do, see, here's the problem though. If they did that on Microsoft's side, what would incentivize them to move over to that side? Oh, to get it 5 days early.
Because if you get it 5 days early.
I just answered my own question.
And you're only going to spend $30 on it, right? If they do it like a $30, $30, you get 5 days early in Game Pass, and then of course your normal monthly deal. So you're paying, they're getting 50 something bucks out of you for the game, and you get to play it 5 days early. So I don't know.
Yeah, throw in some operator skins, man.
Yeah,
come on.
Obviously
Plume.
you get those operator.
Don't let me hanging.
Yeah, Plume Network says 5 days early isn't enough to entice him to buy all the games. His backlog is way too big. Yeah, no, I'm not saying to buy all the games, but there's going to be those games that come up like Starfield when they give you a version that says 5 days early. And somebody like me is going to go, damn it, I need it. And I'm going to buy it.
Them games, Phil Spencer?
Because I'm not going to wait 5 days for something like Starfield or Elder Scrolls or the next Fallout. I'm not going to wait. God damn it. They're going to get me with a Bethesda tier now, Ian.
You're already waiting. What are you talking about? You want the
watch?
bought
the controller.
No, I didn't buy the watch. No, I can't afford that. That's $300. You can play 5 days early with the $100 edition.
Is it even a smartwatch, or is it just a digital watch?
It's a watch. No, it's a watch that you can use in game too. So it'll tell you heart monitor and all that. You can read your HUD basically on the watch.
Is it so like if you go and use a toilet and all of a sudden you look and your health is going down, you're like, oh shit, I didn't go into town.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie.
You come waddling into the room like, oh, shit.
If I could have afforded it, I would have bought it myself. I would have bought that watch myself. I think it looks cool. I think the case it comes in looks cool. The whole package and presentation look awesome to me. I like everything Starfield right now. I got this, damn it. I got that.
That looks good.
That's a nice looking controller.
This controller looks amazing. It's got rubber grips. It's not like the regular plastic controller. It feels really nice. It's a great controller. I love it. Love it. And I've never bought a customized controller before. Any kind of custom controller, I've never bought one. I've always played with a pack-in controller. That's how cheap I am, Ian. So when you talk about being cheap, I don't buy controllers. Yep. The only time I've ever bought a controller outside of the pack-in is when it either died or I needed a second one to play with someone.
Yeah, that's the reason I.
Then it was like I'd go to get a Mad Catz or something, give it to my kid, and be like, "Yeah, play with that Mad Catz controller."
Oh wow!
Yeah,
I can't believe you put.
Speaking of controllers,
Mad Catz on them.
Since I'm new to PlayStation 5, is it me or do the batteries die
Oh my god!
I feel like I haven't played
so
terrible
that much, and it's like, do you need to start charging? I'm like, what?
And then plus on top of that, the other thing is that the console has to be on for you to charge things. You can't turn the console off and then charge.
What?
Yeah, I haven't been able to do that. If
Wait,
I turn
do what?
If I power off my console, I can't charge the controller.
It'll still charge. If you plug it in before you power it off, you have to do it. You plug it in, and then it starts charging. Turn it off, and it'll charge.
But that's kind of stupid.
Yes.
What's with the 1.5 foot long charge cable that they give you?
Yeah, I know. I've bought a few more.
Yeah.
You
might
know
as
what's
well
also really funny? Like Sony's like super proprietary with their like USB technology for some reason. So I had multiple charging cables, multiple like USB Type C cables that wouldn't work on anything. Like wouldn't work on any on the PlayStation controller, right? So then I realized when I got my new camera, I also needed to buy a very special USB Type C cable because none of my USB cables would work on the camera either because they're both Sony.
Wow.
It's a huge pain in the ass.
Proprietary crap sucks. You know, and I say that as somebody who owns an iPhone, you know. I'm telling you.
You're as proprietary as it gets.
Yeah, and I got a Mac. So come on. Yeah, let me tell you about it. No, we're not going to get into that again. Cullen Prime says Fonz is so cheap that he is paying $100 to play Starfield rather than... Yeah. Look. That's just the way it is. Wait, so what are you telling me is $34? How's it 34? I haven't paid anything yet. So what is the $34?
No, I think he thought you got the upgraded version because you got the controller.
No, but he's saying because the $100 edition, if you buy that, you can play 5 days early. But he's
saying that it's $34 to play 5 days early. Is what he's saying.
Oh, is it only $34?
Yeah, well, from normal 70, you have to buy the game, obviously, right?
Why are you saying only $34?
Oh, hold on, guys. It comes with no physical copy. Yeah, $100, no physical copy.
Special edition.
5 days early.
Special non-physical edition.
Buy it now!
Now they've taken those tweets down about no physical edition, apparently. So I don't know what the real story is on this. So I don't know. That's why I didn't even bring it up today.
Well, you know what it is? It's probably bad PR since the last game they put out like that was Fallout 76.
Oh, Fallout 76.
Microsoft had bad PR.
You remember all the cardboard discs?
Yeah. Yeah. No, if it doesn't have a physical copy, what's the point of buying the box? What's the point of it? Like, I've been digital for a while now, so I rarely buy a physical game. The last one I bought was Jedi Survivor on the PS5 because I heard it was better over there, and it wasn't. I ended up selling that bitch back to Game Pass, GameStop. So Game Pass.
That'd be sweet.
Anyways, but yeah, no, it sucks though that if you buy a game and bring it home and you open up the box and it's just like a little piece of paper in there. It says, enjoy the game. Here's the code.
Yeah.
I mean, it might as well be that way anyway, because those discs really aren't shit anyway. You're downloading a day one patch.
I guess like the only downside is like the death of video game box art. You know what I mean? It's really sad. It's really sad that like everything's gone digital. Like game box art used to be really cool back in the day.
Got you. The Andrew 13 said the game is $31.49 with DLC if you have Game Pass. Oh, okay. So you can play it early there then. If you pay that $31.49. Well, that's what I'll do then.
Well,
I didn't buy anything yet.
Let's take a gander.
But anyways, we had a good show today, guys. We're going to call it quits here. It's almost 2 hours. Damn, time flies by when you're having fun with a couple of great guests. I had a good time with you two. We talked some great stuff today. Final Fantasy 16. Apparently, Ian says it gets better, but you have to get past this part. You have to get past where you transition here. You have to get past the Karen cut, the can I talk to your manager haircut.
Yep.
And then it gets good. It gets better.
It does. It does get better.
You gotta get the hot boy Karen, and then you'll be okay.
Yeah. What is up with that hairstyle though? What? Why?
Dude, Yoshi loves the Karen, bro.
Bro, who thought at the Final Fantasy offices?
It's the same haircut as the producer. What are you talking about?
Who thought that was a good idea?
Yoshi.
Jesus.
Man, they got different styles in Japan. They got different tastes, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, Clive.
I tell you what. Look at the second version of him. He obviously has seen some shit.
Well, Clive is like a pretty woman in the first pick, and then he transitions, and it just goes on.
He's seen something by the last picture. He has seen some shit. Okay, he has seen some stuff.
It's gritty and cool and like dark and ominous. Yeah, Clive is a good protagonist though. So far, I'm digging Clive. He's
I give you a little bit of a cool little piece of information. The voice actor, American voice actor for Clive, or not American, he's English, but Ben Starr, he actually voiced all 3 versions of Clive.
Really?
Yeah, so like at first in his teenage years, he voices him in his 20s, and then also in his late 30s, which is that last picture. And if you actually notice, it's actually really cool how much the guy changed his voice. This is actually probably the best voice acted game I've ever
I'm not going that far, but it's really good. It's solid.
I'll fight you on it.
Oh my God! What about that one bumbling guy at the? Oh, what do you need? Oh. That guy who's fumbling around and so annoying.
That was it. He was
I know he's not a main character, but he's but he's awful. He's awful.
That's about as side characters go.
Dave said he really digs Sid. I do too. Sid's cool. Sid is Lorath in Diablo 4, it's the same voice actor. Yeah, cool gritty voice. Love it.
Yeah, super cool voice. Yeah,
love it. But anyways, guys. Thank you for being here. Ian, go ahead and do an outro here. Tell everybody where they can find you.
How do I even do these? If you guys like RPGs, you guys can shoot on over to Legendary Drops. That is YouTube /@Legendary Drops. We talk about RPGs. We have a podcast every Sunday just before Fonz's. We welcome all adventurers. And that's about it.
All of them.
Marc, oh my God,
you're on the spot.
You could find me on the Just Gaming podcast.
I thought you were going to say you look like you were about to. You can find me eating a hot dog down on the corner.
I just did. You can find me every Sunday. That's where we're at. Ian does really good videos. You got to check him out. I'm starting to dabble with some new stuff on our second channel. Once I get my format going, it'll be fired up. So
nice. Thank you everybody for showing up today. I appreciate all of you. Hit the like on your way out if you would. It helps me out a lot. Thank you for listening on all the podcast streaming platforms out there. I appreciate you guys too. But come on by the YouTube channel sometime. Check it out. We do a pretty decent show here, I think sometimes. But anyways, I thought this was a good show. It was really fun. Thank you guys again. And until next time, game on.